Brooks Morton.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, this is Brooks.
Hello, Brooks.
Hello?
Good. Sure.
No, I'm here.
Hey, look.
Hey,
How are you?
doing good.
This is Tank.
I think we're all here now.
Okay.
Is Gary here? Yeah.
Sure is. All right. All right. I got rock, so let's get started. Start with a public vote. I'll make a motion that we acknowledge that the meeting is being held electronically.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded that I vote the affirmative. Okay?
Affirmative.
Eric? Affirmative. Unanimous. Warrant, we had a warrant this week. I emailed back my approval. You got everything you need there, Amy?
I do. Thank you.
Perfect. So, we have minutes from the 10th, March 10th, March 16th, March 24th, April 14th, April 28th, and in addition, April 2nd. Amy has given us all of those. I don't have any changes. We can certainly do an individual motion, or if you guys are comfortable doing the whole, and if nobody has any changes, I would suggest you do the whole thing at once.
I'm in favor of that. This is Tank.
Okay?
I looked through them and I didn't find anything, so I'll make a motion that we accept March 10th, March 16th, March 24th, April 14th, April 28th, and the new April 7th.
Minutes, that's written. Minutes. Okay?
This is Tank. I'll second.
Okay, so I will vote in the affirmative. Okay?
Affirmative.
Gary?
Affirmative.
All right, so moved, and I think that gets us up to date with minutes. Is that correct, Amy?
That's correct.
All right. Please note hallelujah is the minutes. So, adjustments to the agenda.
We have an addition to the agenda at 5:30. We're having an executive session with the town attorney under 1 MRS subsection section 405(6) to discuss the town's legal rights and duties to the employees and the employee handbook during COVID.
Okay?
So I suggest that we recess the public meeting and We expect that executive session will take about 30 minutes. So we will hang up, and then we have a conference call with the attorney, and then we will reopen the public section after our executive session is over, and we will continue to do the rest of the business items.
So, since we're talking about staffing in that executive session, we probably ought to move that to after the executive session, right?
Yeah, and Alan has asked that he gets, we've asked Alan if it would be okay if we move his recommendation for recruitment for the fire department to the next meeting, and he was very happy to do so.
Okay, so
So
that's
we're going
awesome.
to table that to the next meeting, please.
Okay, and then, so we will, we can start with the COVID, and then if we, depending on how that goes, if we want to begin the conversation about budgets, we will go to the executive session, come back and talk about the staffing and hours.
Yep.
Continue from there. Okay, great. Any announcements? Hearing none. Public comment.
Yes, this is Brooks. And how would the public be able to rejoin the meeting once it reconvenes if you go into executive session?
It'll be the same number, and I'm thinking out loud here, it'll be the same number. So one option we can stay on, although that sounds kind of clumsy. I think you're the only public we have. We can text you, say dial back in. Does that work?
Say that again?
I think you're the only public we have. So, I mean, one option would be you could just stay on. Stay on this current line, and we'll come back on it. Or the second option would be, I guess that without the host that would work. But what if we texted you to tell you that we were reconvening?
That would be all right.
It's supposed to only take 30 minutes. So if everybody plans to call back in at 6 o'clock on the same number and the same access code, it should work fairly seamlessly.
That's easy for you to say on your end.
How do we help you, Brooke? What do you suggest?
Well, I'll just leave that for now. I just don't know. I was trying to stay on the line, but will you all be reconnecting on the same line?
Yeah, we are. You're not going to be able to stay on when we hang up.
That's what I thought.
Right, so I misspoke there. I apologize for that. So, Brooks, I will be happy with, plan on 6. If it's moving before that for some reason, I will text you.
So will it be the same number, an access code to rejoin the meeting?
Yeah. The 425-436-6372 number.
All right. So if you will text me, then I will try to rejoin the meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay? I have a couple other things too. First of all, I have been doing volunteer work for the town my entire life. So the comments from the peanut gallery are not really called for. Second of all, you could retrofit the office to open for services so that everybody could be there working in a separate space. Thirdly, the voting list is very out of date. There are people there that have been deceased over 5 years, people who aren't even living in the town. So there's plenty of things that can be done. Thirdly, I would be happy to help the town in reestablishing the geographic information system. In this time, especially in this time, it would be vital. It could be a vital tool so that everybody could be on the same page, since everything is tied to a tax map. And I guess that's all I have to say.
public on the line.
Would I expect any sort of response for any of my questions? Perhaps.
I don't have any. I don't have any for you. I don't know if anybody else does.
Okay.
Of course, I believe the way the meetings go, and I certainly don't want to editorialize here, but it's intended that there be public comment. You get to make your comment. I think to expect a quick response to something that we have not discussed and thought about would be unwise of us, because you would be getting a quick decision, but not a well thought out one, and I would prefer to get well thought out decisions. Hearing no other thoughts, let's move on to discuss and consider the COVID-19 pandemic. Amy and David?
Hello, this is Dave. On my end, really no change to how the town should be proceeding other than how we already are. And I've been keeping up with both Oxford County Emergency Management, that's mostly with updates for applying for any public assistance through them, and also the BDC meetings, or phone calls rather, and again, PPEs are slow to come. They're going to go to the hospitals and convalescent living centers and shelters and places like those, and then to the ambulance and first responders at the plant. So again, the town should pursue any of their possible PPE sources themselves. That's all I have.
Okay. Amy, anything to add?
So MMA has submitted a letter to the governor asking about town meeting and how that should be conducted. I believe that they're submitted 4 different proposals for consideration, and their proposal in order of preference is allowing municipalities to have absentee-only referendum regarding the state statute and municipal charters, allowing municipalities to conduct absentee ballot-only referenda to adopt articles which would normally have been decided by voters participating in a traditional town meeting, as well as for the primaries and school elections. The second is a secret ballot process for all during the June in-person voting at polls, authorizing municipalities that are really small that still vote for their selectmen at the floor of town meeting, allowing those folks to utilize the law to vote on their municipal budget via secret ballot. And then the third is declaring that town meeting is essential. So it would authorize us to allow us to convene more than 50 people and have town meeting moving forward. And then suspend conduct of town meetings until July 1st. If this is a preference, to suspend all public meetings, including local referendum, that government would like to have. They would like to have some clarification that the governor is expecting to suspend all town meetings until after July 14th. So those are concerns that MMA has brought to the governor for her consideration, and we're hoping to hear back from her soon.
Well, we get to that later. That's certainly interesting to talk about lifting the 50 persons for town meeting because it's essential. That'd be awesome. But we'll get to that when we get to that point on the agenda.
Okay.
So I guess we have some options right now. We've got about 15 minutes. You want to start with the budget, or would you prefer to go to the
and the revenue budget. Maybe not the complete review of it, but I don't think it'll take us more than 15 minutes to get through the list of projects that we have for capital building reserve funds.
Great.
If you
So
want to go there.
if it's good with Gary and Fink, let's go there. Does that work for you guys? Gary?
Yeah, I'm safe.
Yeah, Fink, that works for you? Good.
Fine with
All right,
me.
Let's go to the capital reserve fund then, Amy.
Okay, so this is the paper that says it's capital reserve and revenue budget, May 5th, conference call at 5 p.m. So for the projects listed, the Grange Hall, we budgeted $2,500 to do more painting at the Grange Hall, the interior. The town office, it has an industrialized dehumidifier, not humidifier. It should be dehumidifier. Sorry about that. For the vaults down in the basement, and a heat cool pump for the town office. So the total of those two is $13,350. The fire department insulation in the roof at the Sunday River Fire Station is we got a quote for $7,950, and weather stripping around the truck doors at the Sunday River Fire Station, we're estimating $4,500 for that because the flaps, everything needs to be replaced for all of those. And then the next thing at the North Newry Church is a replacement of the roof, including the steeple, and we had a projected budget for $14,000 for that. So the estimated total budget for capital reserve is $42,300. And I'm recommending that you do not raise this, that this comes from fund balance rather than taxation.
The only thing I question on this list, Amy, is how crucial is painting the Grange? What do we got chipping, peeling paint there, or what do we paint?
Hello, Steve. I was thinking the exterior steps and ramp again, and seeing if we had any left over from that. I think that'll absorb it. There's some wood on the bulkhead that could use some painting. Also, if we needed to get through the 2,500, that's what I was thinking. Absorb that.
Could we put it off for a year
Yeah.
without causing damage?
It will always, of course, cause a little damage because we do have some exposed wood. The wood's getting old, so it's on the last quarter of its life, I want to say.
Right.
So, Roger, or excuse me? Excuse me? I think it made a comment. I couldn't hear what it was.
Hank, did you have something?
Well, I couldn't hear him. I kind of lost him in the conversation there, but it might have been me. I don't know.
So what he was saying is, we could put it off. The question is always, will we cause any damage? His comment was that it's getting old, that we do have some bare wood, and that the wood is probably at the last quarter of its life anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Why don't we leave that in there, and we can, if we look like we want to do some whittling at a later date, we could bring that one up.
one thing to consider. Okay.
That's my suggestion.
Yeah. Okay. Gary, any thoughts?
No, would be in favor of leaving it for now.
Yeah. Okay. The other number is bigger. That's the heat pump for the office area, and that's more about air conditioning than heat. Correct, Amy?
Yeah, so we have to replace the air conditioners in the office, and so I had talked to Field Plumbing and Heating about possibly getting a heat-cool pump, and when he came in to do the sizing of it and talk to me about what that would look like and the cost, he said that it should save us a considerable amount of money on our shoulder seasons for not running oil. Right now, I don't know if that is going to pay off because it's so cheap, but you know, in an average year, it should save us some money in the months of October and November, as well as, you know, April, maybe part of March, April and May, as far as not running the furnace. And then we do need to replace the air conditioner, so if we choose to not do this, which is fine and completely understandable, we would need to put some money aside to replace the air conditioners in the town office, because they're well over 10 years old and they don't work very well.
Right. Okay. What's your guess on those? Is that $1,000 or is that a $5,000?
Probably another $1,000 to $1,300 to replace the air conditioners in the town office right now.
Okay. So, to follow up on Tink, if we need a place to whittle, we've got places we can whittle. If we don't, we'll go from there. But
Okay.
any other thoughts on the capital reserve fund? All right. Move on to revenues.
So I've estimated that the town's revenues that we would be able to use to offset taxes should be about $150,000. This is a $50,000 decrease over the 2019-20.
And help me with that, please. Is that at the end of the package?
Yeah, it should be, yep.
Okay. Got it. It starts with auto excise, code excise.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you've got it at 164. You think that's how much of a reduction?
Well, I mean, I was giving pretty broad estimates, and I think to be safe, we should use a more conservative number than the 164. If you want to put the 164 in there, that's fine. But yeah, you know, I think that the real conversation here isn't necessarily about the number, but being realistic about coming out of this, and people probably are not going to buy new cars, and keep seeing an uptick in excise tax, automobile excise tax, like we have been seeing over the last 3 or 4 years, which is the majority of this money.
So how does 164 compare to what you expect out of 2020?
So in 2019-20, I had anticipated about $125,000 in automobile excise, and when I looked at it the last time, so mind you, people haven't been paying their excise tax since the middle of March, so we currently have about $80,000 collected. So we have a long ways to go to $125,000.
Right. So
And
I guess what I'm looking for.
I had to be more realistic with that number moving forward, thinking it might be closer to 100,000.
Right. So what I'm looking for, Amy, is total. Like that 164. What do you think that 164 will be in 2020? I know you guess.
Because we have like a quarter of the fiscal year that's going to be impacted in COVID, I'm thinking we're probably going to be closer to, 170, 164-ish, because if people aren't required to pay their excise tax until after June 30th, which that's seeming to be possible, we won't be collecting it in that fiscal year.
Right, because our year ends in
at the end of July. June 30th is our, yeah.
Right. But when do people have to pay excise tax? I think that's going to come back in July?
So once the civil emergency is over, they have 30 days to pay for their car registrations, which is a part of their excise tax.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess let me, Hank or Gary, you have any questions?
I have none, Mr. Tate.
How does this going?
All right. So the next thing we want to do is a longer conversation, and that's about the complete budget review. So I think we want to put that off until we come back.
Yeah.
You want to spend? We don't even have 5 minutes. Do we want to spend any time on anything, or do we want to just adjourn this meeting now and plan to dial back in for 5:30, which is 6 minutes from now, for the executive session?
Is any one of the reports, either the CEO or the administrative report, could be done in that short time?
I can go over mine if you want me to.
Those usually don't take very long. That was just all I was looking at.
Sure. I got a request from a property owner to establish a family cemetery on their land here in Newry, and I'm researching how this is done without the town ever being responsible for the cemetery. Once cemeteries are abandoned, they become the responsibility of the town, and definitely don't want to see that happen if we're going to allow somebody to do it.
The thing that happened, if there was a military person there, the town becomes responsible for it.
All abandoned cemeteries are the responsibility of the municipality.
Okay. I know if there was a military person buried there, that it always came back to the town or the county or whoever.
Dave Barry came in and hung the plexiglass up off the deputy clerk's desk yesterday. The select board, planning board meeting room now has a phone and Ethernet line, so we are ready to move forward with conference calls or Zoom meetings in that room. We received our first adult use marijuana application for a retail store yesterday, and just a heads up that the homestead exemption went up from $20,000 to $25,000 for those that have homestead. That's all I've got.
The planning board hasn't been meeting, right?
They don't have any applications currently.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And the adult use comes to us or goes to them?
It goes to you, but I have to get a hold of the Office of Marijuana Policy to be able to double check that the application is complete.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. David, leaves us with a minute or 2 minutes if you can do your report in 2 minutes.
I think I probably can.
All right.
I did one building permit for re-roofing at the Brookside condo, building 2. No plumbing permit, no road item. Amy covered the plexiglass. The Coombs Road right-of-way infraction, I made contact with that person, and they requested have till May 14th to resolve the infraction. And I told them that, run that by you guys and see what you thought.
What's your recommendation?
I would give them the 14-day, and I'll contact the butter with the concern and let thought he could burn his wood up in another week, and the shed would be empty, and he could move it a lot easier. He was trying not to move his stove wood place.
Right, I understand that. So, I'm fine with the 14th. Tank, you good with the 14th?
I'm fine with the 14th.
Great. Gary?
I am as well.
Okay, so why don't you let him know that, David?
Okay. Then moving on, the Monkey Brook Road property line infraction, I received a survey from those folks, from a licensed surveyor showing that the infraction's been resolved. And I pretty much covered the emergency management portion during my COVID earlier. So that's all I have.
Very good. All right, so I've got 529. We need a motion to go to executive session with all the correct terminology. Can you help us with that, Amy?
Sure can.
You can read it right
I
off.
need somebody to make a recommendation that we go into executive session with the town attorney under 1 MRS section 4056 E regarding the town's legal rights and duties to the employees under the employee handbook and during COVID-19 crisis.
This is Tink. I'll make that a motion. You've got the wording right in front of you.
I'll second it.
All right, I will vote in favor. Okay.
In favor.
Gary?
In favor.
Okay, so we are hanging up on this call.
Excuse me.
Dial in.
Excuse me. Your website is down, so the citizens are going to be completely in the dark.